Glory, legacy, tradition, rivalry, and most importantly, heart. These are what define the greatness known as football at the collegiate level. Whether it's tapping a sign reminding you to be a champion today, touching a rock before running down a hill ready for battle, from jumping into a sea of blue or a tidal wave of crimson. Whoever knew Bulldogs would not get along with Gators, or Wolverines not liking the taste of Buckeyes? It is because of all these traditions we find ourselves weekend after weekend in the crisp fall air on our couches, waiting for the next chapter to unfold beyond our very eyes. Welcome to Virtual Recoil's week-to-week recap of the 2025 college football season, where we tell you everything you need to know and a look ahead to the following week. So please, sit back, enjoy, and let's lock on. Anyone who came into the season thinking Arch Manning by birthright alone would be vintage 1997 Peyton Manning are all in line for I told you so. Hell, I'd even be hard pressed to say that he's even close to his granddad. And he played for the Saints pre-Katrina. I get that he played an incredibly daunting secondary headlined by Caleb Downs, but he also played against a front seven that had one returning starter. And other than Downs, one returning corner. The least he could have done was score more than a touchdown. To no discredit of the Buckeyes' defensive play, not bring up the other problem Texas has. Remember my whole point for OSU's returning starters on defense being minimal? Texas only has 3 returning starters from their offense last season, and only one of those is an O-lineman. If you did not watch the game, Arch Manning was running for his life the entire game. And the big problem is, it's one thing to replace 2 starters, sometimes even 3, but 4 starters spells problems. But Steve Sarkisian is for sure a top coach that I believe can will the ship from an early storm. But can he lead it back to Port and Austin with a national title finally? So Texas can, without a doubt, be back.
Nope. No, they're not. At this rate, no, they're not. Because when I was watching the game, every other pass that this boy tried to throw was either incompletion that was way overthrown, underthrown, or just didn't connect at all. There's been a couple of times where I thought, oh, he's going to throw an interception. Nope.
Yeah, 100%. Like, Texas, when you're not, like, the only offensive starters you're returning is a running back, which the worst part is, the reason why he's actually listed as a starter, because last year he was hurt basically all year. The running back, that is technically the returning starter. And they're only returning 1 receiver and then that 1 lineman. And now Arch Manning, you know, I like how everyone just believes that just because he has that name on the back of his jersey, the rest of it comes with it. No. As for OSU, yes, the defense played phenomenally and made plays when they had to. But as for the offense, they left much to be desired. Yes, they scored 2 touchdowns, which wound up being the determining factor. But had their defense not had the stout performance they did, we might have been talking about a different team in Columbus winning that day. Texas returned 6 of its stars on defense this year, and it showed. And yeah, all credit to them. You know, Texas, the defense is the only reason why that team even had a chance there at the end for them to go down and tie up the game. But Julian Sayin ran a really bare bones basic offense, and it wound up being just enough because you had the stagnation known as the Texas offense going at the speed limit of 30 and not being able to go any faster than that. But tell me, what do you do when the other team has an offense that can exceed that speed limit and go 80? I believe if OSU is going to run it back, it'll be because of Caleb Downs and co this year, not Jeremiah Smith in the offense. I said what I said.
Yeah, I agree. And the only reason why Ohio State got that 1 touchdown is because it was like back-to-back penalties. Because if I remember right, if I could pull this up here, let me.
First, it was a face mask, and then secondly, it was a hold.
Yeah, Texas that game had a total of 6 penalties for 50 yards versus Ohio State's 2 penalties for 15 yards. And the funny part is, it was an SEC officiating crew, so when I first heard that at the beginning of the broadcast, I was immediately thinking, oh, Ohio State's going to get hammered with the refs. No, it was the entire fucking opposite. So that could probably show you, with Texas and everything, they're undisciplined in their first game, and that's probably what killed them.
Oh, yeah, I mean, thing is, though, Like I said, I don't think myself personally, I don't think the sky is falling yet in Texas. It is not falling. The big thing with Texas is more or less how do you address these small, because a lot of the errors that Texas did have outside of Arch Manning throwing, like couldn't even hit the red side of a barn with the ball. A lot of the other errors are very correctable mistakes.
I think they could still make the playoffs. Like, I think they could still make the playoffs. They had to prove a lot after that. They need a couple more ranked wins. Well, wait. I think I hear some in the distance. Do you hear that?
All I can say is, what the fuck was that? Actually, don't even answer. I don't want to hear the answer because I already know the answer. I guess the moment Saban retired in college football, heard a new guy was coming to Tuscaloosa, the rules must have changed because didn't you know, if you now score a touchdown on the opening drive, you automatically win. I guess the rest of college football, the rest of the college football world hasn't learned of the golden snitch rule because Florida State sure and hell kept playing for that opening drive touchdown. Alabama went right down and scored. They answered by going right down the field and scoring a touchdown. I don't know why though, because Alabama had already won the game because of the rules, right? Because we're Alabama. Oh, what's this I'm receiving right now? Oh, the new rule was shot down in a 1-135 decision across the FBS. Well, no problem. We'll just do what we always do and respond by missing a field goal and automatically letting FSU take the lead and go on a series of 3 and outs and never tying FSU even when presented the chance because of a personal foul. Alabama lost in week 1, 31-17.
And I think that's the first time Alabama's lost a opening season game.
An opener since 2001. First time since 2001. I was 1 year old.
That was a couple months.
Might you just wonder, what was Kalen DeBoer's answer post-game?
You mentioned the great week before the game. Just how much do you self-scout the preparation before games? And are there times as a coach where maybe you notice during the week that things might not be going the way that you want them to?
You said, what do you mean, great week?
A great week. You said a great week of preparation.
For this week, you're saying, or are you
Sorry,
referring to last
going
week?
up to Florida State before that game.
I said that?
You said that, yeah, before.
Oh, just,
Yeah.
okay.
FSU whipped his ass so bad, he does not even know what he said anymore prior. He also had this to say.
I think we got a really good football. I think we got a good football team that can do some big things still this year.
There is no I think. There is only I know or we don't. And judging by the performance presented, I think it's quite clear what the problem is. The team lacks total discipline and direction, which that all stems from one place that even talent can't save. But you know what can? Coaching. Confident coaching. You know, 10 years ago, I'd look at a loss, as rare as they were, and say quite confidently the worst thing college football could do was let Alabama lose early in the season because more times than not, Bama was going to win it all. It was truth of matter of fact. If you let Alabama lose in the end of the year, you might as well just stop playing because Alabama was on a fucking warpath for everybody. These days, all I can say is 4-4. That's the board's record against unranked opponents at Alabama. Let that set in for a moment. And I now have a completely incompetent coach saying he thinks we have a good team this year. All I can say is 4 at best, 3-9 at worst. Get the fuck off TikTok and prove to me otherwise. Jesus Christ.
I won't lie. Well, when I was watching that and everything, I was thinking, shit. I might have to do a wellness check on this poor man. But it's like, hey, I mean, there's still hope. There's still hope. There has been national championship winning teams that have won national titles by losing the first game of the season. I mean, it hasn't happened since 85 or so, whatever, but there's still hope. Don't lose hope. The Kalen DeBoer era is still filled with sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns. Don't worry, Tuscaloosa, you're in good hands. With probably John Gruden next year when Kalen DeBoer gets fired. Let's see what's going on in the Bayou.
Folks, it's actually crazy. I guess if Taylor Swift can write a song about not breaking up or male toxicity, I guess LSU can win an opener against someone not named the South Central Louisiana State Mud Dogs. The game itself might not have been pretty most of the time, but LSU made the plays when they needed to and not make mistakes when they needed to. Especially on defense. That's like the most rarest thing out of LSU these days is making plays on defense. That's like the scariest thought is that LSU has a defense, it looks like. Possible SEC champion? I'm here for it. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't like Brian Kelly, but I like LSU. So, I mean, by God, I can't really get anything out of Tuscaloosa this year, so I might as well cheer for somebody that can.
Nittany Lions are better than Tigers. That's all I'll say about that.
As for Clemson, they still have a good shot at rebounding and winning the ACC, but all signs are pointing towards it being a much more competitive conference than years past. With the rising of multiple programs and the NIL era was something to prove, this can get interesting off the Eastern Coastline. Holy shit. The ACC might have actually just jumped the Big 12 in entertainment value out of the Power Four's bottom two. Virginia Tech, other than keep trying, guys, you might find yourself the next generation Pitbull fighting QB eventually. As for the other squad, South Carolina might not have Michael Vick, but they got a guy by the name Lenora Sellers, and he's got that dog in him. He is my pick for the dark horse for Heisman. He is my pick this year. I mean, don't get me wrong, South Carolina's O-line is shaky, but I'm also going to factor that possibly to being week one growing pains, and we'll just continue to monitor for improvements. This might be South Carolina's first year under Shane Beamer, where anything short of playoffs would be a disappointment. And looking at the SEC and the amounts of unsettled it is right now, I can see why having a reliable QB and defense is a luxury in this conference this year. Because more to be seen from South Carolina and ranked SEC play, but who knows? Columbia, this might finally be the year you lay some cock on everyone.
Let's go, Cox. Let's go, Cox. Everybody loves some Cox.
Say there was drama this offseason, good old Rocky Top will be putting it lightly. Nico, I'm about to leave. Went to UCLA only to be crushed by the Utah team. What was the score? Was it 48-10? I think it was a Utah team that's coming off a 5-7 season, so it's not your typical Utah team that was coming in. It was a Utah team that they were looking to prove something. Welcome to sunny Los Angeles, Nico, where the gas prices are ridiculous, the rate of homelessness is out of control, constitutionally given gun rights are nowhere to be seen, and you are now subject to getting your ass clapped by the likes of the Utah Utes and other dirty so-called welfare states football teams in the Big Ten and elsewhere. You'd think with the supposed world's fourth largest economy, they could afford some football players that are worth the $1 million price tag. As for Tennessee, I can only imagine how badly they're getting spanked without the privileged presence of Nico. I'm about to leave. Oh shit, Tennessee just beat Syracuse 45-26. Folks, let it be known, I despise the NIL era of college football. And no, that's not just because I'm an Alabama fan and everyone wants to act that, oh, you're just upset because now it's legal to pay players. You know, it's funny. The NCAA has always gunned for Alabama, and during all those 18 years, you would think for a team they're gunning for, they would have caught us doing something. But no, they never did, because guess what? We never did do anything. Alabama won their national titles off sheer talent and talent alone. And good coaching, too. But let this be known with the whole Nico case, paying is not always going to equal results. You know how for years, coaches went to Alabama, right? And to save their careers. Gain notoriety, you know, under the tutelage of Nick Saban, right? So I believe that's what Miami and Mario Cristobal are becoming, but not for coaches, but rather quarterbacks. Cam Ward was solid at Washington State, but not first overall pick of the draft solid. Before he came to Miami, no one even thought of the guy as the first overall draft pick, much less maybe even like a mid-round pick. It wasn't until his last year at Miami did he gain that status. As for the new QB in town there in old South Beach,
The former dog.
Carson Beck, the previous 2 years at Georgia was spent being known as that guy who couldn't get it done and always knew where the best ball hawk defender was because he liked padding their stats. He was known as a QB who could win if they played safely with the lead, right? If they had the lead. That was until he went to Miami. Miami as a whole impressed me and was one of the major players this previous weekend to make themselves known and all of a sudden a very competitive ACC. So now the ultimatum for Miami is, though, can they keep it up long enough all the way to the conference championship and playoffs finally, or are they going to drop one against Pitt or somebody?
Possibly.
I mean, because that has always been the thing with Miami, right? They come out swinging, they look good, they look the part, and then Pitt comes along. And then they shit the bed there, and then they just tumble down from there.
Well, I ask you this question. Is the head coach currently Jimmy Johnson?
It's Mario Cristobal.
Then it's not going to happen.
for Notre Dame, the year's still young and it was a hell of a game. I think CJ Carr showed promise, but he's a young quarterback, right? He made mistakes. He made things he's going to learn from. But really what it comes down to is how much can Jeremiah Love carry the team? Though Carr had a good game, you can only expect so much out of a freshman quarterback if you're trying to go win it all.
Yeah, but they Notre Dame had lost a lot of players from last year's playoffs when they're into the blitz. Oh, sorry. A little flashback there. Nothing happened. Eller, I swear to fuck, I'll find you.
Trust me when I say this, folks. NFL success does not always mean college football success. Yeah, you have your Jim Harbaughs and Pete Carrolls, but you also have your Chip Kellys and now most recently Bill Belichick's. Prior to that ball even being kicked off the tee in Chapel Hill on Monday night, the writing was on the wall with all the controversy surrounding Belichick's best Leonardo DiCaprio impression with his 49-year age gap relationship causing drama just in the training facility with rumors of her presence being banned from the UNC premises. That being his girlfriend.
She likes him because of his personality and as a person. Totally not because of, when he finally croaks, she'll get lots of money. Totally not the reason, right?
Then let's add in the offseason hype of having a way past his time, multi-Super Bowl winning coach. And what do you get? A 48-14 thrashing on ESPN for the whole country and folks like Michael Jordan in the crowd. He was in attendance to see what they just paid for. You know how I said the ACC had multiple teams this weekend rise up as potential contenders? North Carolina has not won, and the only potential I see them exerting this year is a race with Wake Forest, finding out who can lose bowl eligibility first.
Obviously, TCU put up this much points since they bullshit their way to the college football playoff. Very disappointed. But hey, it's just week one. You never know in week one. College football is a weird thing. You see some weird shit like TCU getting in the playoffs or Cincinnati getting in the playoffs.
Rolling into our week 2 matchups and picks.
We didn't do a week 1 picks, by the way. This is just impromptu after week 1. Let's just pretend we did a week 1 picks.
Yeah, week 1, we totally guessed all this. I totally, as an Alabama fan, guessed that we'd lose to a 2-10 Florida State team. We actually looked at the script at ESPN, and we knew what was going to happen. Iowa at number 16, Iowa State. I have Iowa State winning, which I feel like this is going to come back to bite me. Iowa needs to throw over 150 yards for me to pick them. I don't have faith in the Hawkeye offense to do that.
And it's at Iowa State too, so they're at a disadvantage being at the Cyclones' home stadium too. So, and I will agree with you. I am also picking Iowa State, unless some bullshit happens where the whole game isn't punt, field goal, punt, like the typical Iowa football fashion. I see Iowa State pulling off.
I'm sorry to all the Iowa State fans. I'm picking you guys to win the Big 12 this year, so it means you're probably not going to win the Big 12. Number 20, Ole Miss at Kentucky. So I'm taking Ole Miss. The reason why this is a notable matchup just because of what happened last year, because Kentucky went into Ole Miss, and it was literally Kentucky's only win of note last year is when they beat Lane Kiffin and the Rebels. I got Ole Miss taking care of business in Lexington.
It's in Kentucky. Ole Miss, they're ranked 20th and everything. I'm picking Kentucky. I think they can go back-to-back years.
For our next matchup, it's really hard to make a pick here, but the only reason why I picked these two schools is because they're actually kind of two schools worth a note. And that's Oklahoma State at Oregon. Oregon across the board. It's at Oregon. It's in Eugene. Oklahoma State is not the Oklahoma State of old. Give me the Ducks.
I'm right there with you. I'm going to go with the Ducks too, because for a simple fact, they're the defending Big Ten champions. This is a whole new Oregon team, and I think they are going to be one of the year-to-year common names of the playoffs, so the Oregon Quacks. Give me the Ducks.
Are you kidding me? Where are we at in society today? Come after me! I'm a man. I'm 40. I'm not a kid.
All right, Oregon across the board. We had number 12, Arizona State at the land of the cowbell, Mississippi State. Give me the Bulldogs. And the reason why I say that is because, don't wrong, I think Sam Leavitt is a good quarterback for the Sun Devils, but I feel like Mississippi State is vying for kind of a notable win, and they have it at their turf. And Arizona State is not one of those teams yet where you go into a matchup where they might have a lesser opponent, yes, but it doesn't mean it's a guaranteed win. And I'm taking Mississippi State.
I'm assuming it's the popular side and everything. I'm taking Arizona State. I believe they're still a complete team. In Mississippi State, they've always been a hit or miss team. they're only good when they want to be. So it's literally like a 50-50. It's like, okay, what Mississippi State team's going to show up? But if I had to pick one as of recent who was more consistent, I'd say Arizona State. So I'm going with Arizona State with this one.
And here is the big matchup. Number 15, Michigan at number 18, Oklahoma. Give me Boomer Sooner. We have a freshman quarterback for the first time going into a hostile environment, Norman, against a really good Brent Venables defense. Give me Oklahoma.
I can honestly see it go either way. It's a big 50-50 for me because at the same time, like you said, Oklahoma and everything, they could probably shut down their Michigan's quarterback's run, and it's at a hostile environment. And it's going to be a top 25 matchup. Fucking Norman's going to be rocking.
Because in my opinion, the ranks really don't do justice for these teams.
It don't. Michigan last year and everything, yeah, they were kind of bare bones last year. They were coming off their fucking national championship stuff and everything, and depending if you put an asterisk on that or not and everything, depending on what side of the fence you're on that issue, I believe the Wolverines get it done. I'm going with Michigan.
Well, folks, picks are in. Yes, we didn't talk about Georgia. We didn't talk about some of those. It's a good thing we didn't talk about them because it means you didn't lose against your tune-up opponent. And with that, that wraps up our Week 1 recap and leads us into Week 2, 2025. I look forward to seeing this next chapter with all of you, and I hope you enjoy it just as much as we do. Like, subscribe, and don't forget to lock on. See y'all later.